Okay, everybody, good morning and welcome to the 2011 SWAC Football Championship Coaches Teleconference. We will have the two head coaches from the two participating teams in a few moments. Alabama A&M head coach Anthony Jones will go first, followed by Grambling State head coach Doug Williams. We'll have, just as our same format, a little bit of an opening statement by each coach, and then we'll open it up for questions for everybody. Just kind of as a reminder, we just want to go through some of the news and notes heading into this week. Most importantly, kind of the schedule of events so that everybody's clear. All this information is available on our website. We do have a Championship Central page set up on our football page, or if you click under the link of championships as well, that'll give you all this information, including hotel. All the team information is there, Hall of Fame information, all that kind of stuff. So this is available to you as well, but just want to go through the schedule of events for this week. Obviously, the conference call this morning kind of gets everything kicked off, but the official events in Birmingham this week, Thursday, December 8th, the SWAC Hall of Fame reception. We do have 6 inductees, including 2 from Grambling, going into the SWAC Hall of Fame. Again, that release, and we do have feature stories, thanks to Roscoe, going up on the website. We've got 4 of them up there already, 2 still to come later this week as we head into the reception. That is an invitation-only reception, but if we do have any media that want to cover that event, please just let me know here in the conference office, either by phone or by email, and we can get you set up. But that is at 6 o'clock, the SWAC Hall of Fame reception, 6 o'clock at the Birmingham Sheraton Hotel. Again, 6 inductees going in, and all that information is up on the website if you want to track who we've got going in this year. Friday, December 9th, the Championship Media Press Conference, also at the Sheraton. That morning, head coaches, and selected student athletes from each school will be available. That is at the Sheraton Hotel. That begins at 10 a.m. I know that there was some confusion. I think we had something out there that said 10:30, but it does start at 10 a.m. At the Birmingham Sheraton. Again, all media outlets, that's when your credentials will become available. We will have our volunteers with the will call to get your credentials for Saturday, beginning at that time, Friday morning, at the Sheraton. Again, 10 o'clock is the start for the Championship Media Press Conference. Also, the Hall of Fame members are scheduled to be in attendance, so if you do have media requests for them, they will be there as well. Friday evening, the NAACP is presenting the pre-show, A Night of Fashion, in the Magic City, and that's going to be hosted by Jazzy Faye. That is a 7 o'clock start. The doors will open at 6:30. That is at the Birmingham Museum of Art. Ticket prices are $15, and if you need more information, the number to call is 205-714-5860. Again, we just appreciate all of our media members promoting all of the ancillary events that are going on around the championship as well. That's the NAACP pre-show, A Night of Fashion, in the Magic City, hosted by Jazzy Faye. The SWAC Championship official kickoff party, co-hosted by Tyrese Gibson and Jazzy Faye, starts at 9 o'clock on Friday night at the Marienda Lounge here in Birmingham. The doors will open at 8 o'clock. The ticket price, ticket price is $20 on that. So again, if you could help us promote some of those ancillary events, that's always appreciated. Again, that's the official kickoff party beginning at 9 o'clock. The doors open at 8 at the Marienda Lounge. Again, all this information is available on our website on Championship Central as well. Saturday morning, we have the Super Saturday tailgate beginning at 8 a.m. at Legion Field. And And then the Farmers Insurance 2011 SWAC Football Championship presented by Toyota kicks off at 12:02 p.m. Covered live on ESPNU. Again, that's an up. We've moved up the kick time for television purposes up 1 hour, so that is a noon kickoff. And obviously Alabama A&M and Grambling State will be taking part. Just some quick notes on that as we head into the week. If you remember earlier in the season, Alabama A&M got its first ever win at Grambling. That's kind of a news item. Grambling leads the overall series between the two schools, 16-5. They have met 3 previous times in the SWAC championship game. Grambling has won all 3 of those contests in 2000, 2002, and 2005. Doug Williams is 3-0 in the SWAC championship game. Again, just trying to get some just little news and notes that would help. The game notes for this game, if you didn't receive them via email, are also posted on the website, so everybody should have those. This is Grambling's 7th SWAC championship game. That is a record. They are 5-1 in their previous 6. Alabama A&M has the 2nd most appearances. This will be their 6th appearance. They are 1-4 in their previous 5. Grambling has not been to the SWAC championship game since 2008. Alabama A&M was here in 2009 against Prairie View. So, again, those news and notes are available on the website as well. If you have any questions at any time during the week, please feel free to give me a call. My cell phone is probably the easiest way to catch me.
I haven't issued a ruling yet, and the SWAC has, but yeah, they should.
Hello?
They're going to take the title away from it, but they ain't going to give it to nobody.
Hello? Reminder, if you've got background noise or other conversations, *6 will mute your phone. *6 will mute your phone. With that, we can get started with Head Coach Anthony Jones. Is Coach Jones on the call?
I am.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
And congratulations on your Eastern Division title.
Thank you.
And welcome back to Birmingham. Again, we said you haven't been here since 2009 in the championship game, but if you could, talk a little bit about your season, about your team, and how they progressed to get where they are, and then we'll open it up for questions from the media.
Okay, well, first of all, good morning, everyone. As you mentioned, we did win the East. I also like to offer congratulations to Doug and the Grambling State Tigers for their accomplishments in the West. As you said, we started the season off kind of on some sour notes, but we knew we were a very young football team, trying to field a lot of young guys as far as their first time playing college football. Went up to Chicago and lost a heartbreaker to Hampton. Came back and wasn't ready for the assault that Southern put on us. We just weren't ready to play, and so we started our season 0-2, and after coming off a 3-8 football season last year, there wasn't a lot of hope for us to have a positive season. But went back to some fundamentals, started working on some things. Was able to get a win against Tuskegee here at home, and then the rest was kind of history. Went down there and played a real tough game against Grambling, and was able to come away with that win. I knew that they were a very good football team. They were kind of like where we were at the beginning of the year, playing some young guys, trying to get them acclimated to college football, and just thought they would get some things accomplished. I knew they would still be in the race, and then from there we just kind of went on and won 8 of our last 9 games, and lo and behold, that put us in the position we are right now. So it's been a very interesting, rewarding year. We've seen a lot of young guys kind of rise and start making plays for us and start to understand this college football thing a little bit. And one of the big ball games we had was probably the biggest game of the year. We went up to the Magic City Classic and went down to the Magic City Classic, I say, and played Alabama State, who was ranked number 1 at the time, and was able to get a victory there, a very close victory, but nonetheless victory. And that kind of was a 2-game win for us, if you will. Came back and lost later on to Jackson State, and then was able to come back and seal the deal down at Prairie View at their homecoming in front of a huge crowd and a very enthused football team. But again, it was a very close game. We've been able to win a lot of very, very close football games this year. Defense has played exceptional at the end, and our offense has done enough to get us to victory. And so that's kind of been our make, if you will. We're not a team that blows people out. We're a team that hangs around there and try to find a way to get it done. And fortunately, grace of God, we've been able to do that this year.
We'll open it up for questions for head coach Anthony Jones from Alabama A&M University.
Coach, this is Santoria Black with the Grambling Sports Network. How are you?
I'm fine, Santoria. How are you?
I'm doing well. What was that light bulb that turned on, do you feel, with your team when you guys were kind of going through a little bit in your growing pains? With that light bulb that all of a sudden turned on where you felt like the season was turned around?
I don't know if it's, I'm not going to say it was a light bulb. I hate to go back to it, but it is what it is. The first ball game we played, Hampton, we were up 17-0. We didn't finish that game, and then we drove the ball down to the 8-yard line and attempted a field goal, and because of poor technique, we got it blocked. And so, we're in a position to win the ball game. We kicked that we kicked that field goal to win the game. None of this occurs. Then we come back the following week and play Southern. And, be honest with you, our guys wasn't impressed with what they saw. And they tried to just show up and say, kind of boo, if you will, and expect to win. And in college football, that don't happen. If you don't show up to play, you don't win. And so I think the light bulb was when we got beat by Southern and the way we played. And I hate to say it like this, but I don't want to take anything away from Southern. But that was when the light bulb kind of came on. We went down there and realized that, we just can't show up at football games and expect to win because of who we are or whatever the case may be. We got to play football games, and that's the only way we can get it done is to play football games. And that's kind of when the light bulb came on. That's when I was able to get their attention because I tried to get it all during that week.
Have there been any surprises as far as those players that you just like, wow, where did that person come from on the team?
No, we've known what we've kind of got. We do a good job of trying to evaluate and train our kids, and these are some of the things that we expect. We have great expectations for all our kids, and but we also try to keep them realistic. And so as we're looking at guys, we try to say, okay, this is a kid that can make plays, this is a kid that can make plays, and we try to put them in positions to do so.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Coach, this is Mark Gray from HSRN. Congratulations. How are you?
I'm fine, Mark, and thank you.
When we talked prior to the Magic City Classic, you used the reference of Franco Harris when talking about your running back, Cardarius Lacey. Can you talk about the broad shoulders or, what makes him special and how he's been such, at least on paper, the linchpin to, carry this offense?
Well, I don't think it's him that's carrying the offense. I think he has a big part of it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to take anything away from him. But even he will admit that, is everything we do as a team. He's a part of that team. He's a very important part of that team. But the line has to be a part of that. If the line is not blocking, he cannot be productive. If the receivers aren't down, the receivers are not blocking downfield. Once again, he cannot be productive. It goes same for the tight ends and fullback. And the quarterback understanding and making what we're trying to do. If any of those things are taken out of this, then his chances of being successful go down greatly. He understands that he is a part. He is not the whole, but he is a part of this system. And I think when you start looking at any good football player, whether it be a running back, whether it be a quarterback, or whatever the case may be, he needs to understand that he is a part of the entire system. And, you know, if any parts of those systems fail, then chances are he will fail.
Can you talk about the efficiency and just the ability?
I can barely hear you. Can you speak up?
Certainly. Can you talk about the efficiency of your quarterback position, Deontay Mason? Just seems like he does everything necessary that a winning quarterback does. You know, a lot of people talk about in the NFL, people not being able to throw, but he wins games. Is Mason that type of quarterback?
I believe he is. I mean, you know, we come in here, every ball game we line up in, you know, we have one goal, and that's to be successful as far as winning and losing is concerned. And obviously we haven't done it completely, but that's our goal. We're not worrying about stats. We're not worrying about how many passes we throw, yardage, and all this kind of stuff. We're trying to put our team in the best situation to be successful. Deontay understands that. You know, and he's efficient, and that's what we're looking for. Would we like to have bigger numbers? Of course, everybody would love to have bigger numbers, but at the end of the day, when it's all over and said and done, our main objective is to be successful as far as the scoreboard is concerned.
And can you talk about the, I guess, the underappreciation of your receiving core? Guys like Alonzo Milton.
Well, I don't know who underappreciate him. I know it's not me. I mean,
there's a lot of people that, you know, don't speak with as much reverence, in my opinion, as they should about your collection of receiver talent in that league.
Okay, well, I appreciate that, and I'm sure they will too. But you know, this is how we try to do things around here. Everybody understands at the start of training camp, guys get out here and they start establishing their roles. Receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, whatever the case may be. They start establishing their roles. And guys can make plays within the framework of this offense if they understand the offense. You know, there are guys that sometimes, you know, you'll see what's happening. Somebody will catch 3 or 4 touchdowns, then you'll see the next score box, we have completed passes to 9 different people. And that's just the way it is. But, you know, we have a very, very good young receiver core. You know, with G. Alonzo leading the way, Montarius is a big playmaker for us. Pride is an explosive guy. Dejournette is that fiery guy that can make plays for you. Torrey has made plays. So, you know, we got a group of young receivers that can make plays all over the field. You know, and you know, we got a few tight ends that can do the same. So, you know, I think our guys understand the make of it. They have brought into this system of trying to be successful on the field and not worrying about padding stats. And at the end of the day, you know, that's what it is. We don't have that one, if you will, superstar receiver. You know, when you look at Alabama State, everybody knows when you start talking about receivers, you're going to talk about Nick Andrews. Okay, so everybody understand that. But, you know, we have a group of guys that have brought into the system and are just trying to play their role.
And can you talk about Corey Hart on the defense and what he's done to really help that unit be successful?
Well, I mean, Corey is, first of all, he has provided excellent leadership. You know, he don't allow guys to, I'll use the term half step, because he wants, you know, this is his last shot, and he wants to be successful. So Corey will get out there and he'll work, and he'll encourage other guys to work in his own way. And then, you know, he has provided some not only leadership, but some foresight. Corey is a very smart football player, and he understands angles and things of that sort. He's using those things to his advantage.
And is there, what concerns you about Graham?
They're a good football team. Look, you know, when Doug came back, I knew Grambling was going to be a good football team. Okay, even when they were, you know, trying to find the identity, if that's what you want to call it, I knew they were going to be a good football team, and they were going to beat a lot of good football teams. When we got out of there, we were very happy to have gotten out there with a win, but I knew the best was yet to come as far as Grambling football was concerned. You know, when you start looking at different things in this conference, you know, I know people refer to me as the dean of the conference because I've been here for 10 years running. You know, Doug is the dean of championships because, you know, he has more championships than anyone as a head coach. And, you know, being a consistent winner in championship is something that just don't happen because this one year you have this guy, this one year you have this guy. He's been consistent, and that's the tough part about this thing. You know you're going to have to go up against a guy who knows how to win, and you know, we know one another. I've known Doug for over 25 years, man, and you know, that's been his make. He's always been a competitor, and I know his team is going to be ready to play, and that's why I think this is going to be one of those great championship games.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, Anthony, this is Roscoe. How you doing?
I'm fine, Roscoe. How are you?
Good. Let me ask you, you were talking about Doug, and it's often said that teams reflect the coach's personality.
Mm-hmm.
How does this Grambling team, you know, reflect Doug's personality, you know, when he played?
You know, Doug has always been a great competitor. When he played, if you watch Doug, if somebody ran the wrong route, he'll tell them they ran the wrong route. If he threw a good pass and he thought it should have been caught and he didn't catch it, he would tell you. He's not going to try to do it embarrassing you and things of that sort, but you can see the fire in him. And his team is like that. You know, they compete. They're going to line up. I don't care what the situation is. I don't care who you are. They're going to compete. And you know, and they're going to play you hard. They're going to play you smart. They're going to understand where they need to be, where they're supposed to be, how to get there. That means they're a well-coached football team. I remember when Doug came on, he was talking about after the Louisiana Monroe game, I believe it was, and somebody asked him a question. He said, "We just got beat," and you know, he was a little more colorful than that. But I mean, he didn't hide the truth, and he came out and said it. And now those guys knew what they had to do to work to get better. So, you know, it's a whole array of what he does. You know, the bottom line, he's a very good football coach, an excellent football coach who knows how to win, and you know, that's what we got to compete with against.
Okay, Anthony, thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, how are you doing this morning? Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting.
I'm fine, Ty. How are you?
I'm pretty good, and congratulations on making it back to the SWAC championship game, first of all.
Thank you.
Coach, the first game you guys played, a real tight affair, 20-14. In the first half, neither team scored, and a bunch of miscues in that game. I think about, you know, maybe about 10 fumbles or more. Can you talk to me about what took place in that first half, why neither team could get untracked?
Well, I think both teams were competing, man. You know, their defense is very, very sound. They have some physical guys on defense. They know where they're supposed to be, and they come up and, you know, they're going to smack some folks. And we feel the same way. We got a very sound defense, and we put guys in position to smack folks. And, you know, there was a lot of smacking going on out there when we first played them, man. And, you know, there was some fumbles. There was some fumbles that were caused by some good hits. There were some fumbles that were caused by miscues, guys trying to figure out. But you got to understand now, again, this was still early in the year for both teams. I think it was our fourth game, and probably Graham's third or fourth game. So it was still early in the year. We both were playing a lot of young people, and here's the thing that I think a lot of people don't quite understand. When you start talking about championship football, you know, Grambling has set the record for the most appearances in the SWAC championship game, and we're right behind them. Okay. These young kids that were coming in here trying to get themselves ready to play, they were playing, and they knew what the expectations of both teams were. They wanted to be champions, and so there probably was a little butterflies in there. There were a few mistakes in there and things of that sort, and so guys were competing. There were mistakes being made. There were honest mistakes that were being made, and you know, and they were going up against good people. So when you put all those combinations together, you know, you're going to have a few miscues.
During most of that game, Doug played two quarterbacks. He played DJ and Frank Rivers. In your estimation, well, down the stretch, Doug has played DJ more. So do you prepare differently this time and more for DJ as opposed to another quarterback?
We'll try to be ready for both of them. Both of them are excellent young talents. We tried to get Rivers back when he came out. There was no need of us trying to get little DJ, but I know the kid. I've watched him. He's an excellent football player. Both of those kids are going to be great football players. They're starting to learn and understand this college game and understanding the speed of it and the pace of it and what they can and what they can't do. And so we'll try to be ready for both of them. But because they really are great talents. They throw pretty balls. They're tall kids that can stand up in the pocket and see over a lot of stuff. They're hard to prepare for, and so you got to get ready for them. Amongst the other things that they did, now they got a running game, a running back that is a guy they can really lean on, and so a big offensive line. So again, I think this is going to be an exciting football game.
Now, speaking of the running game, Coach, both of you guys had great running backs and running games in the first matchup. Lacey had about $183, and Roberts had over 200 before a couple of losses. But can you size up him and how they compare against each other?
Well, that's when that kid came out. That's we gave him his coming out party, man. He went crazy against us. So they're both similar. They're going to hit the ball. They're going to hit the hole downhill. They're going to fight for extra yards. They both got big, good offensive linemen that stand in front of them and push people out the way. And they understand the fist. They understand the holes that they're trying to run through, and they attack them. And again, it's almost like we're looking in the mirror when we start talking about one another.
Go ahead, Coach.
I said it almost looks like we're in the mirror, looking in the mirror when we start talking about one another. We're both going to come in there and try to do the same thing to one another.
In terms of the last game, in the fourth quarter, you put the drive together with 4 minutes left. Can you talk about how that closed the game out for you?
I mean, well, we had to have a score. We didn't want to take this thing in overtime down there. So we made a few plays. It was very competitive. It wasn't a cakewalk getting into that end zone. I mean, they fought. We had to use every ounce of our energy to get in that end zone. And again, I mean, it helps you, but the bottom line is this: just like what happened with the history of the SWAC championship game, when this game starts, it'll be 0-0. We can't go in there with a 6-point lead. It'll be 0-0. It helped us that day. How it will help us this day, only time will tell. But we don't show up and put forth a tremendous effort and make some great plays and have a little luck go our way. It won't matter.
Final question, Coach. Being in Birmingham again for the second time this season and also being in close proximity from Huntsville, how does it help your team playing in Legion Field?
We're familiar with the place. That's really about it. It may get a few of our fans down there, but it's still a road trip, if you will. You're still not home, but you are familiar with the place. And the bottom line is you're going up against a very good football team. So, you better bring forth your best effort.
Okay. Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach Jones from Alabama A&M?
Hey, Coach. This is Jason Pugh at the Times in Shreveport. How are you?
I'm fine, Jason. How are you?
I just want to know, when you look at the team you played in week 4 there at Grambling and the team you're going to face now, what are the biggest differences you see in Grambling and in your own team?
We're both in the championship game. Back then, we both were trying to find identity. We were trying to find ways to win. Both of us were. Now we both dug. Grambling's on a 6-game winning streak. We won 8 out of 9 games. So we both now have tasted, if you will, championship football. We both have tasted what it's like to be on top. And, once you get that taste, man, it becomes a battle. So we both, like I said, it's almost like looking in the mirror. Back then we were struggling to try to find a way to win, struggling with young guys, trying to get identity and things of that sort. We both have found our identities. Now the question going to be is us pushing our will. Who's going to push their will or impose their will the most on Saturday?
Thanks, Coach.
Coach Jones, we appreciate the time this morning. We will see you later on this week, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you. Same to
Thank you. That brings us to Grambling State head coach Doug Williams. Is Coach Williams on the phone?
Yes, I am.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Good morning. Congratulations on your Western Division championship.
Thank you.
And if you could, just kind of summarize a little bit about your season, give us a little bit of rundown how your team got to this point, and then we'll open it up for questions from the media.
Well, it's certainly been a season of all seasons for us, considering where we started. 1-4, and I look at it and I tell people all the time, just like Coach Robinson used to always tell us, the credit goes to the man in the arena. And I'm saying that to say that these young guys and the seniors or what have you did not give up during that first 5 games. And I think that in itself is a testament to the character of this football team. And we're fortunate enough that they believed in what we believed in. The coaches stuck together. And we always say you take one game at a time. And actually that's exactly what they did.
We'll open it up for questions for Grambling State head coach Doug Williams.
Hey, Coach, it's Jason Pugh at the Times.
Hey, Jason.
How are you?
Good.
You talked about and I asked Coach Jones this just a minute ago, can you talk about the differences you see in your team now and the team you saw back in late September that lost A&M, and similarly on the other side of the ball for them?
Well, I think number one, and this all stemmed back to the spring. Coming into a season, getting in late and getting guys to buy into what we was doing compared to what they had done before, playing with young quarterbacks and everybody trying to find each other. I think that's what the bottom line. Everybody trying to feel for each other as a team. And those first 5 games was, to me, was a learning experience for everybody. And, at that bye week, I think we kind of gathered ourselves and realized where we were. And, my thing was to the team was, from now on, it boils down to what you want your legacy to be at Grambling State University, and give them a chance right there on legacy. And I think no matter what happened on Saturday, you got to give them credit for where we are, getting the opportunity to go to the championship game.
And also, it's another rematch between 2 Louisiana and Alabama teams. You just talked a little bit about that, and there's another one coming up in about a month or so.
Well, I don't know whether I can speak to that one, but I know to this one, fortunate enough, AJ and I know each other well, got a lot of respect for each other. I like what he does and what he's done over the years, and you can probably consider him the dean of the SWAC at this time. And for a guy that's been to the championship game as much as he has, let you know that he's going to have his team ready, and that's a good thing. But the rematch here is a rematch in the championship game. And the way I look at that, if it's ever going to be a rematch, that's the best place for it to be, in the championship game, like the other school from Louisiana, Alabama is going to be in the championship game, which, if it's going to be one, I'd rather take this one than just a regular season game.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, this is Mark Gray from HSRN. Congratulations on winning the West. How are you?
Thank you, Mark. Can't hear that well, but I hear a little bit.
Okay. Basically what I wanted to ask you was, you had to navigate through a whole lot. Coming in late, you lose your sports information director, and as you were trying to set the tone for this generation of Grambling football, what was the direction that you were trying to tell these kids on when you got there?
Well, first of all, Grambling has a long history of athletics and especially football. Number one, you got to get these young guys to buy into Grambling, number one. Being here, going to school, and where you are, and having some pride in what you do. I think that was the number one thing. And coming back and making sure they went to the Eddie Robinson Museum, watched old clips of what Grambling used to be. And we know it won't get back to what it used to be, but at the same time, there's no reason not to have the pride in Grambling. So when they leave here, after their eligibility is up, we want them to leave with the idea that I had an opportunity to play at Grambling.
Can you talk about the challenges when you got the 2 quarterback situation and one of them happens to be your son?
Well, I didn't look at it as a challenge. I look at it that we was fortunate enough to have two young quarterbacks who was able to steer us and put us where we are today. I think we was fortunate enough to have two. And we didn't have one of the two. I don't know whether or not we would be where we are today. And that's the good part about having those two. So I didn't look at it from a challenge standpoint.
Can you talk about Mario Lewis? You've seen just about every great Grambling receiver that's been there for about the last 30, 40 years or what have you. And just if not from a statistical standpoint, from the physical tools that he possesses, how good is that kid?
Well, number one, I had the fortune of playing with Mario's coach, and that's Sammy White, and playing with a lot of other guys, the Carlos Pennywells of the world, and coaching the Scotty Anderson and Tremont Johnson and the Tarberts, and all of them bring a little something different to the table. And I said this, what I liked about Mario, number one, he's in grad school, which means mentally and mature-wise, he understood why he was out there. For a kid to not have played football in high school and to come off the intramural ground to do what he's done this year, I think to me speaks volumes. Offensively, in this conference, I think when you think about what Mario has done, it's almost impossible for a guy that didn't grow up in the Pee Wee League and the high school and learning. He basically just learned how to be a receiver this year. It's unfortunate we won't get him back another year because, he played in a whole different offense. That offense was more of a spread option who didn't allow him to run the route, the combination routes and different things that he's doing now. So you would have to say that from spring up until now, Mario has been a project in the works that has become a pretty good work. And he's learning and he's attentive and he understands what he has to do.
And can you talk about your linebacker, Cliff Exama, who's been a stellar performer since, the last 3-4 years there, and not only what he does for your team in terms of leading them in tackles, but, the presence that he sets in that unit as a whole?
Well, you know what? When I walked here into Grambling in March, it was evident who was the leader of this football team. And, I didn't make no bones about it. I didn't come here and try to change the culture. I got in with the system. And Cliff was none even close to being the leader of this Grambling football team. And it's amazing that when you ask questions about the football team, everybody would always look to Cliff. And the good part about it, he not only lead by as a leader, but he lead by example by going out playing football and has led this football team. And in the last couple of games that we had an opportunity to win some close ones, Cliff has been the guy that's come through with some key plays. So I think that in itself typifies what kind of leader that he is.
When you look at the program, is the future with this generation here and now? Do you have to go back out to the recruiting trail, or are we just scratching the surface on what this Doug Williams, Chapter 2 era will be at Grambling?
I don't know. Number one, I'm fortunate to have had a foundation when I got here this second time around. Now, do we have to go out and recruit? Yeah, in order to be competitive, we have to. And, I think we'll be fortunate enough to get some guys that come in here and keep the legacy of Grambling going forward. But the good part about this conference that I found out this year, the parity is here. On any given, it's one of those on any given Saturday. Because, at one point, and I think, AJ alluded to it, nobody picked AJ to win the East, and that's the good part about it. Everybody picked Grambling to win the West, and I'm sitting over here with freshman quarterback, didn't know who I had. And early on, we had to struggle to get where we are today. And, Jackson, who was actually ineligible to be in the conference championship game, was a team to beat. I mean, and we had an opportunity to go to Jackson and beat Jackson. A&M went to Southern and got beat, and then went down and played in the Magic City Classic and beat the team that everybody thought was going to win it, Alabama State. And that's why they're where they are today, because this is an unpredictable league and there's parity in it.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck on Saturday.
Thanks.
Yeah, Doug, this is Roscoe. How you doing?
Hey, Roscoe.
Tell me, how does the Alabama A&M team reflect Anthony's personality? And they say the teams reflect the coach's personality. How does that reflect his personality?
Well, I did have the fortune coaching against Coach Jones before I left, you know. And then, like I say, you know, I know AJ, and we was roommates at the Super Bowl, and his personality, his team plays just like him. You know, he's a guy that's gonna coach him up to not make mistakes, and when you do make a mistake against him, he make you pay. And you know, if you watch his football team, they're a very, very sound football team. They might not be fancy, but what they do when they hit you, they catch you off guard, they catch you by surprise, and you can know they're going to run the football. I know down here we played the first time, we knew they was going to run the football, but we still couldn't stop it because they was executing. And that's kind of coach he is, you know, and he's been a great football coach over the last 10 years, and I think his record will speak to that. And, you know, and I think it speaks for itself.
Well, was he that kind of a player, you know, just whose big thing was not so much talent, but his work ethic and his ability to execute?
Well, you know, let me say this. AJ had a chance to play in the National Football League, had a chance to win a Super Bowl. And AJ wasn't the guy that was in the spotlight. Nobody highlighted or spotlighted AJ, but he found a way to play and found a way to win. And I think, you know, his coaching style is basically the same thing. And at the end of the day, you know, like Coach Rob used to always tell us, you know, when the great scores come, it's not how well you play, but who won. And I think AJ is typified what Coach Rob would want in a player and the individual, that he coaches his team to win. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Hey, Doug, Reggie Benson with the Times. Good morning.
Hey, Reggie.
Earlier in the year, we chatted about Jamarcus Savage. You had mentioned to me he had gone through some injuries and some various things. Can you kind of update me on his situation, how he's played over the last month and a half or so?
You know, I certainly like the way that Jamarcus has played especially the last two ball games. And even starting, I actually want to go back to the Pine Bluff game. I think Jamarcus has finally gotten, I don't think he's always healthy, but I think he is healthy as going to be for this season. And with him and the other guy rising to the occasion along with Cliff, I certainly think he has given us an opportunity to be where we are today.
Hey, Coach, good morning to you. Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting.
Hey, Ty.
And, Doug, congratulations on getting back to the SWAC championship game as you come back to the coaching fold here. I want to talk to you about the first time around you took on Alabama A&M earlier this season, and that game ended up 20-14. Both teams scoreless at halftime. Can you take me back to that first half and how tough that game was the first half?
Oh, it was a tough game, and the good part about it, you know, we had some opportunities to score, and we didn't, you know, and you go back to that game, we had 8 turnovers in that game. And a lot of that was credit to what A&M was doing to us, and along with the young guys that we had in position, and the team as a whole learning what we want to do. And hopefully now we're at that stage that everybody understands what's at stake and what's at hand and what we look for from the coaching staff. And the last 6 weeks has proved that they understand it. And we've had people to stand up, and along with Dorrance and the quarterback play and Mario Lewis, and the offensive line has done a good job for us, and defense front has come around. So it's a team effort. And even the special team with our kickers, Zotan, you know, hitting those 2 field goals, and Jackson hitting the 53-yarder last week in New Orleans to set the tone. So everybody has basically done their part in this 6-game run.
Hey, Doug, can you talk about Kadarius Lacey and Dorrance, how they compare? Because both had great games the first time around.
I think they're 2 different individuals. Lacey will wear you down. Them big thighs, man, it's hard to put your arms around him. And, you know, he's not the easiest guy to tackle. He's like a little tank, you know. He's kind of like the little guy in Atlanta. He's one of them turn-to-burner type of guy that, you know, you just can't go up there with an arm tackle. What Dorrance is, if you watch Dorrance does not look like that guy that got 1,000 yards. You know, I look at him every day in practice. I'm trying to wonder how he get 1,000. But what he does have is a will and an opportunity to play. Because, you know, we didn't start him early in the season simply because of what his spring was like. But the kid wanted to play. He's shown us he wanted to play, and we're glad we were smart enough to play him.
In terms of your quarterbacks, now you played 2 the first time around, and down the stretch, DJ has been the man. So will you continue with that formula in this game?
I'm not one to sit here and want to play one quarterback for 2 series, another quarterback for these series. I don't think you get continuity like that. I think somebody had to stand up and be the leader. The last 2 weeks, DJ certainly has stood up and become that leader. Early on, I benched him early. As a matter of fact, in the game against Alabama A&M the first time, DJ actually hurt his toe, came up with a bad turf toe, and was unable to play the next 2 weeks. Even though we had a bye, he still was unable to play, and he's actually just getting over the turf toe, but he was played well enough on it. And Frank came in and did a great job of leading us to victory on a couple of them, and DJ had come in against the Valley when it was overtime to throw a winning TD pass, and came in against Jackson, and we went on to win, and since that time has started the last couple games.
Coach, how much better has your defense gotten since that last drive of the Alabama A&M game in which they got the ball left with about 4 minutes left, and they left you with about 52 seconds left on the clock before they scored?
Yeah, that was a tough one because, when we kicked off to them, I'm still looking at the personal foul on the kickoff. They had a good return, and we added 15 more yards to it with the personal foul. Those are the kind of things that we cannot afford to do. But they did what they had to do to keep the ball away from them because we was actually just getting a little momentum, and hopefully if we had got a chance at the ball again, we would have been able to score. But they did what they had to do, and they put it away.
When we talked early in the season, we spoke about the fact that a lot of people thought you coming back would automatically win the SWAC championship. You said you never thought that way. And early on, it looked as if you were right in your assessment of how good or your team was in transition. But now that you're back in the SWAC championship game, how personally satisfying would it be to win the SWAC championship in your first year back?
Well, let me say this. Everybody want to win, number one. But I think we got to be fair to these young guys and to this coaching staff is the fact that to be in the championship game compared to where we were is a blessing in itself. But I don't think nobody goes to the championship game not to win. And just like A&M going to be there to win it, Graham is going to be there to win it. And anytime you get a chance to win a championship, man, that's something that's hard to top. It's hard walking away when you had an opportunity you didn't win it, but it's gratifying when you do win it. But like I say, for these young guys and for us as coaches, it's good to know that we're here.
All right, Doug, thanks, man. Oh, go ahead. Are you finished?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Okay, well, thanks and good luck this weekend, man.
All right, thanks, Tom.
Coach Santori, how you doing?
Hey, Santori.
Question for you. The first question is, you spoke about Doris Roberts earlier and what he's been able to do. That offensive line has really improved. Talk about the maturation process that they've had over the year.
Well, and I think I stated it earlier. The bottom line is buying into what we wanted from an offensive standpoint compared to what they've been doing offensively. I think that's the number one thing. There was 2 different systems, totally 2 different systems, and you've been doing one thing for a certain amount of time. Anytime you do it for 2 or 3 years, that's what you know. And all of a sudden, you got a new coaching staff coming in here telling you a whole different ball game, and we had to make sure that they understood that. We're not going to do it the way you did it last time. We're doing it this way, and they had to get used to it.
Another question for you is that you and Coach Anthony Jones have a lot of respect for one another and known each other for a long time. Talk about the time that you guys were roommates at the Super Bowl when you played with the Redskins.
Well, for me, it's kind of hard to talk about. We was roommates, but that Saturday, actually, I had a 4-hour root canal because we didn't talk that much that night. Because there wasn't a lot of talk I could do. I was in a lot of pain. And, I just got my rest, and AJ got his, and we woke up the next morning feeling good. But, we played the whole season together. So, we always talk because we both was on the same side of the ball.
Coach Bill Bryant with the Huntsville Times. You mentioned coming in March. What were some of the challenges you faced coming in at that late date as opposed to if you'd come in, say, in December?
Well, it was unfortunate that, I didn't get a chance to recruit the whole year, number one, because, Coach Broadway decided to leave actually the day of signing day, that evening of signing day. So, I had no idea that I was going to even be coming into Grambling. And a lot of people think that, DJ came in here with me, but DJ was already enrolled in school in January. So, I didn't know I was going to be at Grambling. He didn't know, and nobody else knew, basically. And I guess when you get a late start of recruiting, and after recruiting is over, basically you have to pick up the guys that you think are out there that can come in and help you down the stretch, and that's where we were.
You also mentioned about the parity of the league earlier, given where y'all were earlier in the season. Is that what you sort of preach to your players? Because A&M was sort of in the same situation as well, to stay the course and not panic because of the season being so long and about so much parity in the league?
Well, you got to stay the course, and I know a lot of times when you're losing, the easiest thing in the world to do is quit and just quit on the coaches quit on the players and everything else. But fortunately, these guys didn't do that. We came to practice every day, we met every day, and they worked hard. We worked them as hard and when we won the first game before the first game as we did after the game. So I think at the end of the day, you got to give all the credit to those guys that didn't give up.